how to deal with negative feedback. We've all been feed smacked once in a while, right? Where we get a piece of feedback that's just like, oh, punches us in the gut. It doesn't feel good, right? And it can really damage our self-esteem if we don't have a plan. But I've got a plan for you. There's 5 steps and we're going to go through them today. And these things you can implement in your life in the moment, right when the feedback or the feed smack is happening to you, and it can help you grow through it, not just go through that yucky moment. So this works at work, this works at home, this works in random chance moments around your life. So stick around. I'm going to give you 5 steps to handling negative criticism with grace and ease. But first, check and see if you're a subscriber here. And if not, click that subscribe button and the bell so that you find when we drop new videos like this to help you live a happier life. I'll be right back.
GILD Coaching. More success, less stress.
I didn't always accept criticism with a welcoming grin. I do now, but I didn't always. I remember years ago when I was working in a corporate environment, if my boss would say, hey, I need to talk to you, I'd just, get like a, just like a knot in my stomach. And it didn't feel good. But feedback should always feel good because feedback is always a gift, even negative feedback. Even if the feedback isn't accurate, it's still a gift. And I'm going to tell you why as we go through these 5 steps today. Okay, step number 1, collect yourself. Don't go to pieces. Don't flip out or have negative reactions. Remember, I'm always talking about we should be responsive and not reactive. So breathe, taking a breath, not like with an eye roll or whatever, that will make the situation worse, but just direct your attention toward your breath, the breath that you're naturally already doing. The person who is giving you the negative feedback doesn't even have to know that this is going on because it's all inside you. It's just your business, right? So that's the first step. Collect yourself and breathe. The breath always connects us to this very moment. The breath always gives us control of what's going on with us because I can breathe fast, I can breathe slow, I can hold my breath, I can hold my breath out, I hold my breath in. I get to decide what happens with my breath. So it really helps to not only relax us, not only to clear our brain, not only to help us regulate our emotions, but the breath also helps to bolster our sense of confidence because it is something that we control in that moment. Okay, step number 2, realize and recognize what's me. So if you're taking notes, write down what is me and what does that mean? What's me? What's me and what's you? What's me and what's the person who's giving me the feedback? The person who's giving me the feedback is giving me the feedback for a reason because it's necessary from their perspective. So you've got to figure out the boundaries there. What is me? What is necessary for me? And what is necessary for them? Don't always go to the place where you're trying to figure out why are they doing this to me, because we're never going to be able to figure out somebody else's complete motivation with accuracy. So don't waste your time doing that. But just figure out where your truth lies. I've given you that statement before, that question to ask yourself. What is my truth? So if somebody gives me feedback, I get feedback all the time right here on YouTube from people who love what we're putting out and people who don't love what we're putting out. Which feedback do you think that I appreciate more? I mean, of course, on first glance, I like reading the happy feedback, more than I like reading the negative feedback. But which one is more valuable to me? They're equally as valuable as the other. And the reason is that I can learn and I can grow from all the feedback. What's the other person and what's me? What's you and what's me? So that's step number 2. Really figure that out. Number 3, you can converse about this. Just because you might feel like you're being attacked doesn't mean that you can't say, hey, let me ask you some questions about this feedback so I make sure that I'm taking from it what you've intended. Because all feedback is a gift. Even if it's feedback from somebody who's like, hey, you're a jerk, and they start calling you. That feedback, you're like, wow, that person either thinks that I'm a jerk and I can examine my behavior, or there's something really wrong with that person and I can send them some love. So either way, you can answer it with curiosity. Use questions. You can question the person. Don't question them with an attitude, no sass, none of that mess. Just with honest curiosity. I'm curious how you came to this decision. Why are you sharing this with me? Have I done something in the just whatever questions are relevant to the situation that you're in at that moment. Use curiosity. Number 4, look for truth. Especially in the feedback that you really think at first, you're like, that is just a load of boop, right? Especially in those moments, look for truth. Because even negative feedback that we don't really like, we don't really want, we want to push it away, even negative feedback like that can contain some truth. And if you can find the truth in the feedback, then you can find the lesson in the feedback. If the person's completely just out of bounds, really breaking appropriate boundaries, look for truth in there. Or you can also look for cues for yourself on how you would or will handle the situation when you find yourself in a similar space. And then number 5, sometimes if it's inappropriate, if the person really is completely out of bounds and this just shouldn't be happening at all, you do have the right to exit the conversation gracefully. A way to do that is to say, this conversation has reached a point that it's inappropriately attacking, or I feel attacked. You can always say I feel, because nobody can say no you don't, because you know how you feel. I feel attacked in this conversation, so I'm going to discontinue it. That was completely respectful, completely fine. I feel attacked in this situation, so I'm going to discontinue this. Oh, I attacked? You're saying I attacked you? I'm not saying you attacked me. I'm saying I feel attacked. Whoop. All right. So those are 5 ways. And you really, really, really want to appreciate all feedback, even negative feedback, even from someone who's combative, because it teaches you something. I got some feedback from somebody a year and a half ago, and we had been friends for a little while, and I knew that our beliefs were on completely opposite ends of the moral and political spectrum, but I found other things to appreciate about her. And when she found out that my beliefs were on the other end of the moral and political spectrum, she flipped out and said, that there's no way that she could be friends with someone like me. And she also called me closed-minded. And and a few other things. And so I looked at the feedback and I was like, where am I closed-minded? I've known that our beliefs are different. I still, even at this moment, accept those beliefs, and they're outside of my boundaries, so I'm not going to go there. And I really, really examined all of the feedback. And in some of the feedback, I was like, maybe I can watch my behavior there to see if there are places where I'm being intolerant, if there are places where, I could shift my beliefs. So even this horrible feedback that was basically like the end of this, what I thought was a friendship, but clearly you should be able to be friends with people who don't have the same views as you. That should be okay. But not everyone is capable of accepting people who don't have their views and won't likely ever have their views. So, what I thought was a friendship, but I still took the feedback and appreciated it. I appreciated seeing the truth in this person. I appreciated realizing that this type of person who draws these type of boundaries unfairly is not the type of person that I want to be around, because that's just bad energy. And I'm all about vibes and increasing your energy. So there's always something to be grateful for and thankful for. And that is why you should appreciate all feedback, even negative. If this video has been of any help to you at all, or if you just think my hair looks good today, will you give me a thumbs up? And then if you didn't already, please hit that subscribe button and the little bell so that you'll get notifications next time we drop videos like this to help you live a happy, less confrontational, and more stress-free life. I'll see you next time.